Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a truly unforgettable book, Michael Morpurgo's Cool. We'll be walking through this highly cinematic story step by step, unpacking all of its dramatic tension and emotional depth before ultimately building up to a definitive final rating. So, if you're ready to explore a tale of heartbreak, hope, and the incredible bond between a boy and his dog, you are in exactly the right place.
We're starting this one right in the middle of the action. Meet 10-year-old Robbie. He's got two absolute obsessions in life, playing football and his beloved dog, Lucky. But this isn't just your standard boy and his pet story. The entire narrative hinges on one split-second decision that literally changes Robbie's world in a flash.
Morpurgo puts us right there on the pavement with him. Robbie says, "I heard the car, heard the squeal of brakes, I even heard my own scream. I was flying through the air and falling, tumbling, rolling." It's a visceral, chilling, inciting incident, a sudden, tragic car accident that immediately sets up the massive stakes we're dealing with.
Let's look a little closer at this tragic accident.
The entire narrative thrust of the story stems from this one agonizing moment. Robbie sees Lucky bolt out into the street chasing a cat. Without thinking, he dashes out after his dog, gets violently hit by a car, and wakes up. But here is the massive catch. He only wakes up on the inside. He has actually fallen into a deep coma.
And that brings us to the terrifying reality of being trapped in a coma.
This brilliantly illustrates the book's core conflict. Externally, Robbie is completely unresponsive. He's lying in a hospital bed, completely unable to speak, move, or even eat. His family and doctors think he's lost to them. But his internal state is the exact opposite. He is fully aware. He hears every single thing happening in the room around him. As readers, we hear his every frantic thought, experiencing his silent, desperate struggle to just wake up and communicate with the people he loves.
This internal monologue gives us one of the most poignant lines you'll find in children's literature. Pondering the word coma, Robbie thinks to himself, looks a bit like comma. Sounds like it too. Hope my coma is a comma and not a full stop. I mean, wow. It's a beautiful, highly emotional linguistic hook. Readers constantly highlight this as the absolute beating heart of the story. He's just not quite ready for the end of his sentence.
Let's move on to footballers and best friends. Enter the hospital physician, who Robbie affectionately nicknames Dr. Smelly Breath in his mind. The doctor tells Robbie's visitors to try absolutely everything they can to jog his memory. The advice is simple but vital. A familiar voice, a beloved book, a favorite song, or even a massive surprise. Anything cool that might act as the key to pulling Robbie's consciousness back up to the surface.
So his family pulls out all the stops. We even get a dramatic, high-profile surprise when Robbie's ultimate hero, Chelsea and Italy football superstar Gianfranco Zola, makes a mercy dash straight to the hospital. Zola says, "When I heard about Robbie, I didn't have to think about it. I came to do what I can." It's an incredible gesture, literally designed to shock Robbie's system awake.
But, as amazing as a visit from a legendary Premiership footballer is, the true emotional anchor of this story isn't a celebrity. It's his scruffy, loyal dog, Lucky.
This leads us to a crucial, climactic swell of hope. After everything else fails, Robbie's dad decides to just break all the strict hospital rules. He secretly sneaks Lucky right into Robbie's hospital room. In this beautifully cinematic sequence, Morpurgo shows us that the pure, unfiltered bond between a boy and his dog might actually be stronger than any medicine or celebrity visit.
Let's step back and look at the themes of grief and hope. Morpurgo isn't just writing a tense medical thriller here. While Robbie is trapped in his own mind, he's reflecting on some incredibly heavy issues. He processes the painful reality of his parents' separation. He grapples with that intense burden of self-blame that kids so often carry during a divorce. The book tackles complex grief and the fear of loss. But importantly, it constantly circles back to finding rays of hope in the darkest possible situations. And it handles it all with such immense warmth and understanding.
Plus, it serves as a surprisingly fantastic educational tool. It gently teaches young readers about the stark realities of hospital life and serious illnesses. It acts as a highly memorable, gripping lesson in road safety and the Green Cross Code. And ultimately, it instills resilience, proving that positive, life-affirming outcomes can sometimes arise from our absolute worst, most terrifying mistakes.
So, what was the critical and reader reception like?
Well, the response was phenomenal. The Guardian's children's site praised it relentlessly. One reviewer noted, "Cool is one of the most moving books I have ever read," before directly telling their audience, "That's why you, yes you, should read Cool." They specifically loved the brilliant, descriptive intensity of Robbie's inner thoughts.
The Daily Telegraph was equally breathless. They kept it short but incredibly impactful, simply calling the writing champagne quality. That perfectly sums up Morpurgo's signature ability to deliver premium, top-tier storytelling that really respects the intelligence and emotional capacity of younger readers.
Over on Goodreads, the consensus from everyday readers firmly aligns with the critics. Thousands of reviews point out that it is an absolute must-read for the 8 to 12 demographic. Teachers and parents constantly mention how effective it is at engaging reluctant readers, especially young boys, by perfectly fusing the high-energy themes of football and dogs with those incredibly intense emotional stakes. It's the kind of book that will simultaneously break your heart and put it right back together again. And the hard data absolutely backs this up. The book took home the Portsmouth Book Award and was shortlisted for the prestigious Blue Peter Book Award. Plus, it's holding strong with nearly 4,000 ratings on Goodreads and boasts flawless 5 out of 5 star scores from educational retailers like Scholastic. The engagement really just speaks for itself.
Which brings us finally to our verdict.
Based on the intense, film-like pacing that hooks you right from the very first squeal of tires, the profound emotional depth it asks young readers to navigate, and the stellar critical reception across the board, we are giving this cinematic story explainer a definitive, sparkling 5 out of 5 stars. It is, without a doubt, a masterclass in empathetic storytelling.
I want to leave you with a provocative thought to ponder today. If a single unexpected moment on a street corner can plunge us into total, isolating silence, what does it say about the enduring, noisy, chaotic power of the things we love, like the sloppy kiss of a favorite dog, to pull us back to the surface of life? Think about that fragility and that incredible strength. I highly encourage you to experience Robbie and Lucky's story for yourself. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.